Alright everybody, how you doing? How's your Friday night going? I'm just having a quiet one, man. My wee boy's with his grandpa. So Friday night to myself as usual. Um, just munched a wee packet of wine gums. Closest I'll be getting to the wine. Um, Glad I went to that meeting yesterday, man, 'cause I was talking to the guy today again, and I'm going back up to Edinburgh next week to do a training session that all volunteers have to go through. I'm apprehensive about it, but it's a good apprehension. It's no like fucking, it's not that bad, know what I mean? Um, I'm really looking forward to it, 'cause I feel like, obviously, as I said a couple of weeks ago, I feel like things are starting to happen since I've got out of prison. Do you know what I mean? I feel like change is really around the corner. It feels kind of strange, but like I say, it's all for the good, innit? My shoulder's a bit better. It was doing my nut, and it always seems to be when I'm going to sleep, like I get this jaggy bit, like under my arm, like I can't, because I always lie on my side, and I can't lie on my side with this. I need to lie on my back. You know what I mean? It's a bit of a pain in the arse, but see, at the end of the day, it's not as bad as it was the other day. You know what I mean? As I said, I was fucking panicking, man. I was like, it was just getting worse. The pain was just getting worse and worse all day. Like right down here, right down there, back down my back of my arm and all that. And I ended up phoning that NHS 24 and everything. This was yesterday or the day before. Day before yesterday, I think. Get mixed up with all these days, because obviously the new year and that. That happens to me all the time. I think it happens to most days. But aye, they just said to me rotator cuff or the other thing, 10 ligaments or something. So just need to get a rest and not let people twist my arm up my back. But since I'm just kind of kicking back to now, trying to figure shit out, obviously I've been thinking of ideas for stories, right? Um, and the one that I'm going to do the now, I was going to do it just before Christmas. So it's John Venables, who had killed the wee boy Jamie Bulger in Liverpool with an accomplice, Robert Thompson. Now, don't know if any's noticed, right? He was up for parole again just before Christmas, right? Now, I was going to do a video on that, and then I was like, nah, no, what, fuck it, I don't want to talk about that case, because it was pretty, it's as horrific as a case gets, man. Like a wee 2-year-old child being brutally murdered, no just by anybody, by two 10-year-old boys, right? Now, I was about 10-year-old when that case happened. Um, about 11 had I said, 1993 I think it was. Can't mind what month it was, but um, obviously if you grew up in the 80s or the 90s, you might remember all the kind of news coverage, because it was in the papers a lot. Media saturated with a story, especially because I think the age of the killers, not I mean 10-year-old boys doing this, man. I hadn't even started breaking windies by that fucking point, I don't think. Know what I mean? Just um, absolutely horrific, man. And so what happened was, obviously, for those of you that maybe don't know, a wee boy, 2-year-old boy, was with his mum in a shopping centre and was led away by two other boys. She was in a butcher shop or a newsagent, just buying a paper or buying groceries. It was something like that. And she just took her eyes off the wee boy for like 2 seconds, man. That's what it takes, especially for a child that age. We all know what kids can be like, just if you take your eyes off them for a second, know what I mean? And obviously there's been a big appeal, all that stuff. And they'd actually found CCTV, the wee boy being led away, right? And it said that the poor woman felt safe then, because she's like two young boys. What's the worst that can happen? Maybe they're taking them to safety, but that was fucking it. But absolutely horrific what they done to that poor wee boy, man. And I remember watching a documentary about it in Kilmarnock, I think it was, and I actually turned it out like halfway through, 20 minutes in. I can't remember what it was, but it was kind of talking about his injuries and witness statements, not, and I just thought, fucking turn that out, man, that's horrendous. But, see, I've been thinking about the media kind of response to the Jamie Bulger case as opposed to the one that I did a video on a while back, Richard Keefe, who killed a wee boy who's also was also called James. James Campbell, his name was. And I'm like, does the fact that there's hardly any media recognition on the Richard Keefe Jamie Campbell case help Richard Keefe go under the radar, and does it also no help people forget, but in like make people forget about it? Because I've always thought that, like, because somebody commented on that video and says, I've lived in Glasgow all my life, I've never heard of this case, and I thought that was quite significant. I thought that's weird, because like these things should never be forgotten about, do you know what I mean? And when you look at the kind of response to the Jamie Bulger thing, like they two have had to get lifelong anonymity and all that, and because obviously they did get, even if they were Waynes, I dare say that mob would have ripped him apart, big mob outside court and running up alongside the post vans and hammering it, right? And I dare say, listen man, see if it was my kid, I totally get where they're coming from, man. Like, coppers would need to fucking sedate me or have a taser glued to my neck. I don't know. I would need strapped down, and I need to put in maybe some sort of fucking liquid cosh. I do think I would boot in my mind with grief. Not even gonna lie. Could be wrong, obviously, but touch wood, I'm never in that position. But I can see where they're coming from, especially if they're family members and they've had to go through that. That must, you could just see the grief on the parents' faces. Like, even I think the dad was at a police conference, he just sat with his head staring at the flare, wouldn't even look up, man. I was just like, no one, oh, fuck's sake. But what kind of struck me, right, was when you look at the difference between Robert Thompson and John Venables in the police interviews, right? So it has been said that the two of them had very chaotic and unstable childhood shit going on. But see, the weird thing is, right, they said that Robert Thompson's home life was worse than Venables, but I don't think it was like that better. I don't know, but just gone with my own kind of insight, uneducated guess, whatever you want to call it. The way that Venables acted is the way I'd expected Thompson to act, and vice versa. Like, especially as they go older. And what I mean by that is, it was said that in the initial police interview, right, Thompson was dead confrontational. It was difficult to interview. He wouldn't answer questions, or he would answer with a question. So for a 10-year-old boy to be unfazed by that kind of level of authority, that kind of austere environment, like, I used to shit myself go to the headmaster's office in school. Couldn't picture myself in a fucking cop shop at 10, Charles with murder, and not to be kind of on the surface, to be phased, to be like, to me it's somebody who's used to being in a police station or something. Do you know what I mean? You can tell with how comfortable they are running about, like prison care settings, whatever. You get off a kind of vibe, and somebody who's been running about that will see it in you. Will just get a feel for it, and I always thought to myself, like, had they been in and out of police stations all their life or something? But on the day they'd committed this offence, I think they were like, they'd been trunting for school all day, right? And stealing out of shops, and it just sounded like there was no parental oversight at all whatsoever. And this all kind of links back to when we're talking about like fucking trauma, childhood shit, or that. What is the difference between somebody who goes bad and somebody who turns good after being through hundreds of shit? I wondered that, and I think to myself, is it something good or something bad happening while you're in that space? And what I mean is, say I'm in this kind of space now where it's like, fuck the world, everybody's against me, my dad's just fucking died, poor me, blah blah blah. And then while I'm in that kind of space in here, like the next thing that happens in my life could make or break my life. So whether it was a good thing, whether it was a bad thing, and that's the straw that breaks the camel's back, or fucking slingshots you into fucking your best life, all that talk positive shit, right? And it makes me kind of wonder, like, even though they were only 10, right, and I'm not kind of sold on the fact that people are born evil and all that shit, but I could never put myself in the shoes of a 10-year-old boy who decided they wanted to kill somebody. That young, it's just really, really, it's unusual. And the weird thing is as well, like, so because of the high profile nature of that crime, they were told you will send a long period of custody or that shit, but they ended up doing less than 10 years, right? Which, me personally, I think's fucking nuts. Kid or no, right? Less than 10 years for that, right? Just madness. So they done less than 10 year, released in 2002, lifelong anonymity order, media blackout. So basically, if you were a reporter and you had a photo of one name, you published it, or if you took a photo with your phone and you published it, and that was them, you are going to jail for that. That's what's happening now. Robert Thompson, nobody's ever heard of him, as far as I know. Since obviously he's got released, and interestingly, Venables was blaming him in the police station. I don't know if he was blaming Venables as well, but the Venables was acting like this vulnerable, shook wee boy. I think that was an act. And the reason that I think that was an act was because he would say things that made me think, this is a kid who's used to getting his own way. He doesn't sound like he hears the words no a lot. And when he does hear the word no, he's already thinking about how to circumvent your no, your refusal. I don't know if it's because maybe his mum was just fucking, I don't know what kind of relationship they had, but if I had to guess right now, I would probably say it sounded like his ma just let him do what he fucking wanted. Probably swore at her all the time or that kind of shit. I don't know, right? But that was the kind of impression that I got from him because he was sitting talking to his lawyer, right? And the lawyer even said, when I first laid eyes on him, I was like, he's not done this, right? But he was talking to him, and he says, we were playing a Game Boy or something, and he says to me, say the lawyer's name's John. John, are you going to ask me difficult questions? I don't like being asked difficult questions. He's like, I might ask you something, I might not, we'll speak about it later. Obviously this is like a defence kind of a strategy session, whatever. The lawyer's obviously thinking, right, before I put him in the witness box, before I want him to start giving evidence, I want to see how he's got to come across to a jury, a judge, whatever. And a wee guy says to him, these questions are starting to get too difficult. I don't want to answer them. See, after they must have started getting on to the killing and all that, what he done to this wee boy. And I thought to myself, who's leading who here? Like, you're the lawyer, and I know you work for the client, but you're the fucking lawyer. You're the one with the law degree, mate, no me. Do you know what I mean? So it just struck me as kind of weird, because also in the police interview, he would become evasive when they started to go into the nitty gritty, right? And obviously he's only 10 at the time, right? So I'm not going to go right into what I think his fantasy life was like and all that. I think probably just like any urban area teenager like that, know what I mean? Fucking just mad shit. A 10-year-old boy seed. But after they got released, I think they got released, so 2001 or 2 it was, right? And Robert Thompson's never been held for again. Don't know if he's just got better at offending, better at covering his tracks. We'll never know unless he comes out his fucking cell, which I highly doubt. But when you get a licence, right, it's just a big list of things you can't do and you need to do, right? So I've obviously had licence. It's just basically your parole conditions, right? You must not fucking, just say for talking sake, right? You get ones that everybody gets, and you get ones that are specific to you, right? So say for talking sake, you would have one. Just say you murdered somebody in fucking Postal, right, or Maryhill, and it said you will not enter, and it'll have the postcode or something of the place where this crime happened. Or you could have like say a pub, right? You must not enter any premises that sell alcohol. You must fucking notify us if you have a passport. There's guys with organised crime charges that are getting told now, they're your phone. We're giving you a phone. So technically what they're giving you is a fucking tracker and all that. So they'll know everywhere where you are. Like, they're just, somebody's on the other end of the tech side watching all your pings and all this shit, you know what I mean? You're not allowed more than 500 quid in your pocket at one time, just it depends, right? So Venables, and I imagine Thompson had the same ones, was you must not enter Liverpool city limits, blah blah, you must not contact your victim's family, all that kind of shit, right? But he's been, that Venables, he's been gradually testing the waters, right? Gradually pushing the boundaries. He's getting full of gear. There's been witnesses have came forward and says they were taking gear with him at work, arguing with people, getting into fights, dropping hints about who he is, right? Don't know what the fuck he's doing that for, because we all know Liverpool's crazy, you know what I mean? And you get some wee guy that would fucking put your lights out just to see his name in the paper, you know what I mean? I used to be one of them when I was younger, you know what I mean? So I know what it's like. Especially somebody like him. Guy would be a pure scalp for some mad trophy hunter up in fucking Shorts, Franklin, whatever, wherever you want to go, these people are fair game, for want of a better term. They are. There's no undoing certain things. Always try and believe there's something in everybody that makes us human. But I've read enough about humanity, seen enough about it, and heard enough about it to know there's things that you'll never be able to come back for, and there's things that there's just no talking after that. It's just war in it. Diplomacy then war. There's just things that's like, do not diplomacy's cancelled. And they are two of the people I would put that in that category. And what is also, you might be sitting thinking, why was Venables' licence revoked? So, obviously, with him being out in the community, he ended up, the last time, so this is what happened, right? In 2010 or something, right? Now, I remember seeing this. He was recalled because the police had came to his door, the pro officer and the police, because he told them somebody knew who he was, right? So he's went home, he smashed all his fucking his hard drives, right? He smashed all his hard drives, which is a major red flag straight away, right? Know what I mean? You don't need a criminology degree to know something's not right. And the coppers obviously realise that he's smashing evidence. That's what you're doing. Because a lot of people don't get this, right? See, when you see somebody in the street committing an offence, you're videoing somebody robbing a bank, you're videoing two people fighting in the street, you're videoing a guy mugging a woman, you're creating evidence. Now, half of the people I know couldn't live without their phone for a fucking hour, never mind. I don't know why a lot of people are... Obviously, I appreciate trying to capture the moments of your life and you're fucking... Everybody's taking photos all the time and videos. I do it myself. But when people are doing that, it's like, why are you no helping? Or why are you no phoning for help? You're stoning videoing. You're, to me, that's worse than being a bystander, man. Like, I'm just like, it kind of, it gets to me a wee bit. Because I see people, like, I see videos and all that, like somebody that's fucking, say they're in trouble, they're in distress and something happens, their motor rolls down a hill, there's some arsehole neighbour standing fucking videoing it with his phone, instead of shouting, hey, your fucking motor's got to roll down the hill, your fucking, your front gate's open, your rain's got to run out, they just stand video it like fucking pure clowns, and I'm like, woofed. But anyway, so I was just highlighting how technology is almost a core feature of forensic in criminal investigations. That's all I was trying to get at. But so they've commandeered all his technology, right? And they've took you fucking daft to the jail, obviously, right? And I'm not even laughing about this, right? They've found beastie images of children, right? On his shit. Now, he got recalled to prison and was out 3 years later. Now, I'd like to kind of interject here, right? See, the good thing about the English system is, see what you get recalled for. Now, I read this somewhere, I think it was Ministry of Justice, fucking Transformation of Rehabilitation Act, whatever bullshit they were hitting out with that year. I've still got the documents, in fact. 2012, I'm sure. 2013. I'm a weirdo. And they were saying things like fucking... what was it? If you get recalled in England, say you're doing 10 years, right? A 10-year sentence, and say they let you out after 5, right? And you were out for 2 years, but you get done with breach of peace and you got 6 months in the jail. The Pro Board just let you out after the 6 months. See up here, you go up for parole every 12 months and you're not getting it. Doesn't matter what you were in for, you could have got caught with 2 paracetamol for a sore fucking head, right? But you've been done with drugs charges, right? And you would say paracetamol were illegal, you'd go back, and it would say it was a 6-month sentence, you could go back to jail for years, say you were a life sentence prisoner, right? But see, that's what I like about the English system. There's a lot of bad things about their system, I think, in compared to ours, but that's one thing they've got right. Like, so if you were doing a lifer and you get out after a life licence, say you done 15, 20 years, right, and you get caught with an open can of beer on the street, something pretty petty in the overall scheme of things, and you would go back to jail for like 6 months, however long a normal person would get a court, that's what you're getting. If anybody on here knows anything about this and they're kind of a lot more familiar with me, feel free to drop a message, whatever, but I like that about their system. So he's been out after 3 years, right, after being caught with what they're calling kiddie porn. And when you put that in the context of the murder that he fucking done, at the age of 10, I think that's wee arsehole. I think the system is just starting to open their eyes to him. They've had him in their clutches since 1993, and I believe that was them just starting. They're just starting to kind of cotton on to him. Like, I've never met the boy, obviously. I've just read what's been published online, fucking newspapers, whatever. I think he had them wrapped around their fucking fingers, man. And see, when I read that in the interview room, Robert Thompson was sitting pure blank faced, and then when the only reaction that he was getting was like anger, venom. That fucking Venables was fucking greeting and screaming and begging his mammy and grabbing onto the cop's ankles, on his knees, what they gonna do to me, Sarge, or that shit. Nah, I think that was a pure act. I think he's Oscar material. Obviously I'll never know, but definitely a highly dangerous young man. And the ironic thing is, right, so he got out after the 3 year, and I think he started doing all the same shit, and they found the same stuff on his fucking computer. Now, see if I was in any sort of criminal justice work, no with somebody with my background, see when I see things, see anything to do with any children like that, like in that kind of context, I'm not buying all this, it was a one-off, I didn't know what I was doing, it was a mistake. No chance, mate. Not a fucking chance. That would be like me saying, so, I'm a blonde hair, blue eyes type guy, right? No always, right? But I like lasses with blonde hair and blue eyes, right? That's kind of my type, but it's not always guaranteed that's what I end up with, obviously, but just want to point something out. Say, when you're first aware of your sexual attraction to somebody, right? Now, imagine, like, somebody coming up to you and says, here, see birds with blonde hair and blue eyes, that's beastie, mate. Bird could be same age as you, like, that's in you, right? That's not gonna stop reacting for nothing and nobody, right? And my point is, people who are attracted to children, people who are sexually aroused by violence, there's no getting round that, there's no curing it, there's no reforming it, there is only containing it. You can't change what turns you on, for want of a better phrase, right? It's just in you, and I think that wee scumbag gets serious kind of stimulation for kids and violence. And who's to say that wee fucking scumbag isn't already sitting like that? No, what, fuck it, I'm gonna have a last hurrah. See, like that Robbie McIntosh for Dundee, any's ever heard of him? He was a serial killer in the making. He'd fucking I might do a wee bit of research into that. Obviously I'd never met him because he wasn't a mainstream prisoner, right? What he'd done was he'd fucking try to butcher a woman in the woods in Dundee, right? Say 2003. I think it was that year because that's the year I got my 16, that's how I remember it. Then one day he gets out. He was either on a home leave or it was his first day out of jail. Went and got a dumbbell, right? Put it in a fucking school bag, walked up to the same woods, Templeton Woods I think they're called, in Dundee, right? And tried to bash a dog walker, poor woman out walking her dog. He's tried to cave her head in, and he would have succeeded. I do believe there's a difference between people who are trying to kill you and people who are just that angry and raging, they're not even thinking about what the fuck they're doing, and they end up killing somebody without the mental intent to do it. I do believe there's a difference, right? And he had the mental intent, mens rea, as the lawyers call it. I believe that he had the mental intent to take a human life that day, 1,000,000%, and nothing would convince me otherwise, know what I mean? Wouldn't buy it. And you have to ask yourself, like, was he sitting in the jail going, I'm just going out to do another one? Because I do believe he would have kept doing it till he got caught. But with Venables, it's no so fucking clear cut as that, because he's almost a witness protection prisoner. See, when you see these mafia guys in America and they go on fucking WITSEC, witness protection program run by the US Marshals, right? That's basically what he's got. It's like new identity, new social security, new legend. A legend is basically a word for a cover story. It means cover story. It was used by like your intelligence agencies for illegal agents who pose as subjects in that country. So, say me and you were working for whoever, right? Fucking James Bond, section fucking whatever. And you're getting into a foreign country to gather information for me. You're basically just, I'm giving you a whole identity. Your name's Chris McPherson, you were a doctor and you work in a fucking children's hospice, or you own a pet shop, but you're for like fucking Beijing. Do you know what I mean? You're here basically, you're committing espionage, what I'm trying to say, right? So he's under these conditions, it's like restrictive, really restrictive conditions, and maybe that's what's stopping him really acting out what he really wants to do. Because when you think about it, he was locked up, alright, it's a secure unit, he was locked up for the age of 10 to the age of fuck knows what, right? He's locked up for, so he locked up till he was 19. That's usually when your sexuality's just kind of starting to kind of, well, for me, being aware of, like, obviously I always knew I fancied lasses, but I was never sitting thinking about like fucking intercourse and all that. That didn't start coming about to high school, but this wee cunt's no, he's not even made it to high school. I don't know what it would have been like in the secure unit if he'd have had like, because I'm sure in there they didn't tell people who he was and all that as well, because he would have just been a constant target of assaults. It'd have been, that's what I'm saying, he's a scalp pen, innit? And I know like what it's like being in with they people, know what I mean? You're just, you don't really need an excuse to do them, they've given you. But I do wonder that, like, what has he been sitting all this time just like, my life's fucked anyway, man, what's the point? Like, 'cause you'll get mad nutters like that. What's the fucking point? Might as well just take 10 of them ways, know what I mean? Take one of them ways, do you know what I mean? It's just frightening, man, to think somebody with that kind of mentality, that in them, it's not like he's just calling you out in a pub and you've got to roll about with him at the front and maybe get a bottle out of your head. It's not, we're not talking about this kind of daft shit for a Saturday night. We're talking like, we're talking as fucking crazy as it gets. And I'm sure that John Venables is like the same age as myself. He's about 41, 40 something. Aye. And I was, as I says, I was going to come on and do a video about that when I'd seen that he'd been rejected for his parole, but I think something else was on my mind that day with doing videos, and I've just thought, fuck that, know what I mean? Because as I says, I watched a documentary about that case in Kilmarnock, even though I'd knew about it, but it was just distressing to listen to like some of the witnessings talking about how they seen the wee boy greeting, and just, I've got a wee boy, know what I mean? And just doesn't bear fucking thinking about, to be honest with you. But it's just good to know that obviously scumbags like that, they can get the decision right. Do you know what I mean? Because there's just no need for somebody like that to be walking the streets. Do you know what I mean? There's just no. not got to fucking sugarcoat it. Do you know what I mean? I don't sugarcoat shit. I would just rather no say anything at all. Do you know what I mean? If I knew I need to dress this up a bit, obviously there's times and places, but see when it comes to things like this, I just don't make any fucking bones about it. Know what I mean? It's just it is what it is. Because children are meant to be protected no matter what. It's like a universal constant. It should be anyway, but obviously not everybody thinks like me or you, do they? Even though we have our faults, and I'm no fucking perfect, man, far from it. Know what I mean? But I always try and do the right thing. I know when a liberty's been taken, and just no really, just having a bit of integrity in it. In a world where there doesn't seem, well, in my world obviously, like, but hopefully that's all got to change soon, know what I mean? And so everything will be back to normal for me on Monday anyway. I'm just taking the kind of time, try and heal my fucking shoulder, because obviously I can't go to class while my shoulder's like that, know what I mean? So I'm just fucking try to get things accomplished, like, so I'd started writing like my life story, right? I'd actually done it once before. I'd done it I started it in shorts at the age of 23. How the fuck can you like write your life story at 23? You've not even been alive long enough. But I lost it to time. The manuscript was, I lost it, and I felt really jaded writing another book about me. So I wrote a crime novel in prison. Actually, I've wrote it manuscript form. It's like that. I've just no typed it up to get it published yet. And I do believe, I totally believe that when people like who watch this channel read this book, I do believe this book will do well. It's a crime fiction novel about somebody for the Gorbals who he does a bit of gear, but punting the gear and all that, and it's a bit of a kind of hinky, like the violence of Goodfellas meets the humour of Trainspotting, because there's some black humour in it. Obviously, I'm talking about myself. I have strange humour. I laugh at irony. I like irony. Know what I mean? But as I'm saying about my goals, I want to write my life story now. Obviously, it's not even finished. Even if I turned 80 tomorrow, there's still a lot of shit to be saying. But I do believe my life story as a offender has finished. In that sense, like going through all the systems, making your peace with your trauma, all that kind of shit. So now I'm going to turn the corner and go to like move for offender into ex-offender. So that's a new chapter. So maybe that's another book. I've got a couple of things that I need to work on in that way, know what I mean? So I'm going to head now. Go back to watching my programme. Some mad Irish guy, I can't remember what it's called. Something to do with that Veronica Guerin thing anyway. But I'll leave you to it, and I hope this was insightful, informative. Hope you got something out of it. But I'll leave you to it, and I hope you have a good Friday night, quiet Friday night, no drama, no shit, no just good positivity, you know what I mean? So you take care, and hopefully I'll be back on tomorrow night. Over now.